Hello, this is George Shears coming to you again from my beautiful retirement paradise in the North Woods of Minnesota on a beautiful August day in 2010. I want to thank you for taking a little bit of your time to watch this video, and I hope that you'll find it helpful. I want to focus here on a distinction that I like to make between little mind and big mind or wise mind. And I'd like to start this off with a quite a well-known Zen story. It seems that this student who was eager to learn about Zen got an audience with a very famous Zen master. And so after the master had invited him in and he had a chair, the master said, "Well, let's start by focusing on emptiness." And the student says, "Oh, I know all about emptiness." And the Zen master said, so, okay, then let's talk about meditation." And the student said, "Oh, I know all about meditation too." And the Zen master said, "Okay, well, how about if we have some tea?" So he brewed a pot of tea, and when it was finished, he started pouring some into the student's cup. And he just kept pouring until it was full, and he kept right on pouring. And the student said, "Stop, stop, you can't pour tea into a cup that's full." And the Zen master said, "You're absolutely right. And your mind is just like that cup. It's completely full. You come back after you've emptied it." So like all good parables, this story captures a nice chunk of truth. And I think that full teacup represents very nicely what I call our little mind. Little mind is what we are all liberally endowed with. It's the home of ego and our sense of being a separate self. It's like our own built-in biocomputer. It allows us to do all kinds of wonderful things without which we would never be able to survive in the world. It's a wonderful servant, but a terrible master. Anyway, the little mind allows us to plan and review and decide and use logic, and it's filled right up to the brim with endless beliefs and opinions and judgments and knowledge. However, it has some very definite limits, especially when, as is true, I think, of the vast majority of modern people, we hang out in it almost all the time from when we wake up in the morning until we go to bed at night. The little mind, whatever else can be said of it, is very limited. It's all about doing, accomplishing. It's the mind of doing. And to the degree that we identify with it, we become human doings. Now, the big mind, or the wise mind, or the mind of awareness, is entirely different. I think of it as what surrounds that little mind. It's the frame of reference within which the little mind resides, and it basically is infinite in its dimensions. And when we learn to shift into big mind, wise mind, and mindfulness is precisely the tool par excellence for doing that, we start learning how to just be, how to be here, now, without judging, without resisting, without identifying with, just riding the waves, so to speak. And as we make that shift into big mind, insights inevitably start to develop. And some of those insights are really cannot be put into words that little mind can grasp. Just like how would you possibly ever describe what a rose smells like? So as we make this shift into big mind, insights develop, and one of the most profound insights is that we do not exist as a separate entity at all. The little mind's deep-seated belief in I is a fiction, a delusion. And that, waking up to that, is something that happens as one shifts into big mind. But much more than that, we gain the realization that we truly are one with all other beings and actually with the entire cosmos. And with that waking up comes naturally great compassion and love for all other beings and wanting to help end suffering in the world. Now, in my little mind, I deeply believe that the world desperately needs big mind. And that's why I am so strongly invested in doing everything I can to help people learn how to make the shift. How to shift into that big mind so that you don't just believe, but you know you are one with all other beings. And then, as a venerable monk once said to Jack Cornfield, one of my mindfulness teachers, no self, no problem. And that is indeed true. Once we learn that we do not have a separate self, all of our problems basically are over. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. I hope you'll find this helpful, and I look forward to talking to you again soon. Please be kind to yourself and to others.